Yeah.
Welcome to the Rhinebeck Scoop. I'm your host, Jennifer C., and I'm dishing out social commentary about our beloved town. If you like this show, please give it 5 stars on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen. And also, you guys, tell a friend. If it's something that you really like, don't keep it to yourself. Tell a friend. Today, we are discussing why young people can't get fucked up in our bars anymore and the short-term rental drama. First, we have a couple announcements from Radio Free Rhinecliff with Matty and Jen are probably sitting here going, wait a minute, we do, but we do. I want to include them. So we have a new radio show and it's about the chosen people. My producers, Matty and Jen, started a hilarious and entertaining show called Jew 2. Please tell us about it.
It's basically 3 Jews and a Gentile usually, and we talk about cultural differences between Jews and Catholics or Italians and also similarities. And we cover everything from health to food to how they were raised and interactions with family. Are they loud? Are they not? Do they get gas? Do they, all of these things, Jen?
It's kind of a clever device to get to know somebody in a different way.
Yeah, you hear all about gefilte fish and the whole thing. And the first 2 guests were really funny. So I urge everyone to tune in on Radio Free Rhinecliff to Jew 2, and you can find it anywhere, Apple, Spotify. Also, we have a Radio Free Rhinecliff event happening in 3 days on Friday, January 26th at 6 p.m. Would anyone like to talk about that, or I can?
So we're having our first live taping of The Backroom with Andy Ostroy at the Morton Library in Rhinecliff. Actually, it's almost filled up, so if anyone's listening and they'd like to sign up, it's free. There's a link on the radiofreerhinecliff.org webpage. Ruth Ben-Ghiat is the guest, and she specializes in fascism, but
my favorite,
but in a bite-sized way, so it's not intimidating. So we look forward to seeing you. There'll be wine and some snacks, so please join us.
All right. So awesome. So you guys, that's on Friday, January 26th. You can go to Radio Free Rhinecliff. You can sign up, all that. Okay. So we are moving on to Boujee Banter. Well, first, January 12th. Do you guys know what January 12th is?
What?
Do you know, Matty? You look like you know.
No.
It's known as Quitter's Day. Oh. So this is the day when all dreams die and people forego their New Year's resolutions. So I want to know, I know it's early in the year, especially for Maddie's resolution, but how are we doing on our resolutions?
I don't remember my resolution.
Yours was to let it go.
Oh, no, that's
so
not
you
fun.
let it go? You don't even remember it?
Look at that. I'm batting 100. I don't even remember. So I guess my dreams have died. Matty?
Oh, nice.
I haven't learned any new skills yet this year. So
it's still really early.
It's early. I have 12 months roughly.
Okay. So we're not going to consider you a quitter. You still have plenty of the year to go.
I'm positive I'll have learned multiple new skills by the end of the year.
Okay, cool.
I have faith in you.
This is an easy, it's actually so easy to do, this particular one. So yeah. I don't place too much of a burden on myself for the New Year's resolution.
So I'm going to go back. So I'm supposed to, I want to let go. So maybe I'm going to make that a February goal.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Yeah,
like sober February, like sober letting go.
Yes.
I just realized you have not let go.
I have not.
I just thought about that.
That's okay. That's okay. Now, how am I doing? I have said I was going to leave 10 minutes early wherever I'm going. I have been doing that.
Great.
I'm very proud of myself. I have not found new gay friends, but I found out some good info that there are gay potters that moved not far from me in my neighborhood. So I plan to knock on their door, give them a gift basket, hopefully make some friends, and then being myself more on this radio show, which I feel I've been doing. So,
well done.
Yeah.
So far, I have overcome Quitter's Day.
Yeah.
Very proud of myself. All right, let's move on to some bougie news. Now, I love reading letters in newspapers. So we have a wonderful letter in the Hudson Valley Pilot, and this is from Chris Hall, and it is entitled Rhine Cellar and Age Limits in the Village. Perhaps you are aware that the Rhine Cellar has increased the age of eligibility to enter its bar to 25. This came as an unwelcome surprise to my son, age 23, and his friends during Thanksgiving. When they attempted to visit the bar, they had often frequented to play pool and darts. It was a popular spot for Rhinebeck and even Red Hook young folks together. When my son once returned for the December holidays, he told me the same age restrictions was posted on the door. Now, the rumor is that the age was increased to 25, not due to underage folks. I find it so interesting when people write folks. It's a very old-fashioned term for me, right? Yeah, it's very old-fashioned. It's like someone saying supper, but that's okay. Underage folks attempting to use fake IDs, but rather because there may have been a disgruntled patron or two who was disruptive, and the owner decided they wanted a more mature crowd. Again, that is what my son told me. So thank you to Chris Hall for giving me content for this radio show. I really always appreciate that. And I also have been reading that bars in the city and all over the country are raising the age limit to 25 or even 30. What do you guys think about that?
That's really surprising. I'll be honest with you. I figure that the bars would welcome additional patrons in our small little town. But I mean, when you are a proprietor and it's completely in your hands, and if maybe whether people are disgruntled or maybe people aren't paying or maybe they're not tipping their staff, I mean, it's really at their discretion. It's sort of unfortunate.
I didn't know about this until you just read that letter. Apparently they can legally do this. I think it's a terrible idea. I don't like it. I don't like generational discrimination. Just like any other discrimination, as long as they're of age to drink, they should be allowed in.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it just makes me laugh a little bit because I'm thinking about the Rhine Cellar and Rhinebeck and Rhinecliff and everything in general. And I'm like, do you think these kids are going in and they're like, hey, let me have a buttery nipple and a Long Island iced tea? I don't think so. These kids are from money. They're probably ordering like whiskey, like nice whiskey and all these types of drinks. I don't think they're going in and getting effed up, are they?
I don't even care what they're drinking. If they're drinking one beer, the question is, why are you able to discriminate against someone for their age in any instance? Again, if they're of age to drink, and obviously they have ID, it's obviously not about fake ID because you would have fake ID at 25. I mean, that's not it. It's straight up discrimination based on age, and it's completely wrong.
I wonder what really happened. First of all of them, I mean, I'm the parent in this room. They all have fake IDs. I don't think that's the case. But the Rhine Cellar really is the only place where you can go and congregate and meet a whole group. And I think that's the point of it. So again, it's like, it is a little surprising that they're choosing to put an age limit on it. It must have been some crazy fight. I mean, it must have been pretty bad or maybe like drugs. I don't know.
Right, but you wouldn't, if
Jen's just making shit up.
It doesn't really matter. It's still discrimination. I mean, if a woman went in there or a man went in there and they did something stupid or awful, you wouldn't then say, oh no, only men or only women. I mean, you're discriminating one way or another.
Perhaps it was multiple events. I mean, I can't imagine it was one event.
Well, the Hudson Valley Pilot, they went and they asked for a comment, and basically the bar said, hey, let's keep it positive into the new year, blah, blah. Really didn't answer. It was just like no comment. So I have a feeling something did happen, but I have no idea what happened. But I do understand that it's age discrimination as well. Something else that I find really interesting is I've been reading a lot that it's the absolute opposite, where bar owners are desperate to attract younger crowds because Gen Z doesn't go to bars anymore.
Exactly.
Right. Because they're getting fucked up at home on the shrooms and the ayahuasca and the weed and all that.
Or they're not getting fucked up at all.
Sure, okay.
Sometimes.
We'll go with that.
I mean, that might be a small subset as well, but yeah. I think it's pretty small. But truly, like when the kids come in, there's a tradition where everyone goes out that Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and then during the winter holidays. I mean, they all go out, all of them. So if you're a small business owner, I would want their cash as good as anybody else's.
Yeah. So according to BuzzTime.com, bar owners attract Gen Z customers with Instagrammable moments, whatever the fuck that means, tequila lessons, yoga sessions, really? So it's like downward dog shot, paint and sip nights, and charitable events. So I find it two ends of the spectrum, right? Some are trying to attract, some are saying, no, we want to be ageist. We shall see.
I mean, especially since you noted that it's happening all over, I don't think that's going to hold water for a small business owner. But
No.
whatever. All right, we'll see.
We shall see. So let's move on to white people problems. This one is really good. This is a hot topic here. I have it. This is from a Daily Catch article by Andrew Chechia. I'm going to guess the name. Oh, you know what? I forgot to ask you guys before I started this. How do you say the town supervisor's last name? Spinzia?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. All right. Rhinebeck Town Supervisor Elizabeth Spinzia plans to revive the town's effort to regulate and restrict short-term rentals, STRs, such as Airbnbs, by introducing a proposed law for public review in the coming weeks. The regulation will formalize procedures for operating STRs, 60 to 80 of which are currently operating illegally and unregulated in the town of Rhinebeck, Spinzia told the Daily Catch on Thursday. The new law, she said, will likely feature aspects of previously proposed STR regulations in the town. Now, if you read the article fully, it goes into both sides. So there's Spinzia's side, there's the government side, but then there's also the side of, they interviewed two people. One of them was saying that this is how I pay for my mother's assisted living. So I own two properties and then this property I rent out. So I am in Rhinebeck. I just don't live permanently in the property I rent out. Then there was also someone who said this is how they pay for their property taxes because Rhinebeck is so expensive. So we have two sides where it's unregulated and that's not okay. And then we have the other side where you're just trying to make a buck and be able to live in Rhinebeck. So I see both sides. Do you guys have any opinions on this?
I see both sides as well. I think that the property taxes have doubled in the last few years. And, it is really expensive. Perhaps the taxes are commensurate with what they should be, but it was a very large hike in a very short period of time. And, I don't know what the rules and regulations are. So if it was something like, I think in the village of Rhinebeck, it has to be 3 weeks or 4 weeks, a minimum.
Yeah, this is a complicated issue that's being, a lot of municipalities are struggling with how to deal with this. Woodstock has passed some pretty strict regulations, including a lottery where you only have so many houses that can be in every year. I mean, it's obviously a push and a pull between people who need the income and the fact that you don't want to have a community filled with people who don't actually have an investment in the community, that they're just part-time renters constantly coming and going. And New York City has passed very strict regulations on this. There should be some regulation, and there's always going to have to be a balance between creating a community that everyone actually lives in, but also has an opportunity in some cases to make extra income.
So my question is, who's going to enforce it and who's going to pay for those people to enforce it?
Yeah, well, there's third-party companies now that have gone into the business.
And who pays for that?
The municipality pays.
That's our tax pay. That's our base.
Sure, but you have to pay someone to analyze the rental market in these cases because you don't have a municipality this small that can do it themselves. So they pay an annual fee to a company who then specialize in this. And many municipalities use these companies to look and they can report everything that they find.
So I'm a big proponent in certain situations of beg for forgiveness instead of asking for permission. Mm-hmm. And I guess I'm a little confounded by the fact that why would you buy a place you want to Airbnb right in the middle of town? I don't get it, where everyone can see what you're doing. Why can't you buy something outside of town? You guys should buy in my neighborhood. No one gives a fuck what goes on there. We are completely self-regulated. I'll tell you something. I have a neighbor who shoots off his Civil War cannon every once in a while. Like, no one gives a shit. Go ahead, Matty.
The desirability of an Airbnb in the village is what gives it value.
Well, they're
also
separate. The village already has its zoning rules. This is the town.
Or I should say, the closer to the village, the more valuable that Airbnb will be because someone wants to stay there, walk and get a coffee, or go close by.
Yeah. Okay, that's true. I mean, but they can do cars too. Yeah.
If you look at Airbnb when you're like, if you look at Woodstock or you look at any town, the ones that are located closer to the center of town tend to be more desirable because people are traveling and they're going to be in that town.
Yeah. Okay. I get that.
No, I mean, they really do have they have a lottery, I believe, in the village. They do have their rules in the village. I just think that the town, so Elizabeth represents the town of Rhinebeck versus the village of Rhinebeck.
Okay.
So maybe they want to institute what they already have in the village.
Yeah.
Tons and tons of people made serious bank during COVID.
Oh, I'm
this
sure.
Is going to be interesting.
So yeah, to take away that income, that's going to be tough. So I see both sides of it. I think you want a strong community, a strong town, but then I also see where people have to make income. You have to make income these days, guys.
Yes.
It's Airbnb or OnlyFans, and those are our two options, and that's it.
Can we combine them?
Oh, that would be interesting. That would be really interesting. Have you ever thought, Jen or Matty, about going on OnlyFans?
No.
Not yet.
I think about it every day.
Well, look at you. Of course you do. You'd be like, great.
I think about it every day. I'm like, should I do it? Shouldn't I do it? I think it would be just a fun thing to do.
You can do a podcast about that. A whole episode.
I can do a whole video podcast. It'd be your first video podcast. And it would make all...
I think it would be great. Do some research.
I should do some research. I know. But then, you know what? I have done a little bit of research. And the thing that stops me is the creepy guys that look at it.
What?
That's the thing that
creepy guys on
Yeah.
OnlyFans? Oh my gosh, that's blowing my mind.
But I had heard of someone who, she's a young girl, and she went on vacation. She does OnlyFans, and the person she rented from recognized her.
Oh, wow.
And was a creepy guy. And that kind of stuff is just like, I don't know. But I think about it. I have my OnlyFans name already picked out.
What is
Do
it?
you guys want to know?
Yes.
It's nice, natural, middle-aged tits.
I like that.
Thank you.
I think people will
I
flock.
can go right into that audience.
And,
Yeah.
and that's supposed to preclude creepy guys.
Oh no, that's why I'm saying I haven't done it. I haven't pulled that switch. Not pull that switch. So anyway, let's go on to my sweet of the moment. I have to give a shout out to Brigitte's Bistro in Red Hook. I went there. I tried it for the first time, and the chef was so nice. He listened to my little industrial seed sob story, and he made me beef tartare without canola oil. He made a special sauce for me, which I really, really appreciate. The chocolate mousse, because sometimes I do indulge a little bit, and I was having last week was a rough week. So I did have some chocolate mousse, and that was good too. So shout out to Brigitte's Bistro. And then my sour of the moment, this is a real bummer. The Hudson Valley Pilot and I think Albany Times reported that a deceased man had left behind 22 Great Danes that were in an emaciated state in Milan. A handful of reports said the man was illegally breeding the dogs.
Aww.
And if you see the pictures, it's really sad. The house is in horrendous condition. The dogs look horrendous. Supposedly, all the dogs have gone to rescues and the ASPCA, so they will get adopted out. So if you guys remember the original tan god that we all knew as Bob Barker, he would always end the show and he would say, spay and neuter your pets. So please spay and neuter your pets and adopt if you can. Don't shop. So to leave feedback on anything I've said today, I'd love to hear it all. Agree with me, tell me I'm wrong, whatever you want. And Rhinebeck, this is your radio show, so give me topics you would like to discuss. Call and leave a voicemail at 845-307-7446 or email me at comments@radiofreerhinecliff.org. You can also check out my 3 podcasts and my vibe at freespiritpodcast.com and follow me on Instagram at freespiritpodcast. This show is produced by me, Jennifer C., Matty Rosenberg, and Jen Hammoud at Radio Free Rhinecliff. Until next time, may the groundhog not see its shadow. The next show will drop Tuesday, February 6th for our pre-Valentine's Day episode on how to get laid in Rhinebeck. I'm going to be doing a lot of research for that. See you in 2 weeks. Love you, RBK.
Yeah.